this is the third one to go up, and I'm not going to do any more today. I don't know that this is getting anywhere at all. I will say this: I have to give background so that someone knows, hopefully, where I'm coming from on it, and it takes up the whole video. So I'm just going to say I did the medical malpractice book in 76 to 80 when I had April Fool's Day. I had antifreeze put in me, should have died. It was a living hell. And I had written about mind control. I'd worked for doctors, how this agencies, and now then you can Google MK Ultra and a lot of things now. But I'd written about how they modify behavior or program people to kill or shoot or knife, and now it's so advanced they can program armies. So it's the precision is so, and synchronicity is so right on, so perfect. And you know, the thing that gets me is I don't hear any psychiatrists speaking out on this. You have to go. There's a little bit of truth on Coast to Coast. It used to be Art Bell, and I really liked Art Bell, and they still tell some of the truth, and you can Google it. But anyway, what I wanted to get on here was the background checks that they do. This programming has been going on a long time, and people don't know they're getting it. If they did, what are they going to do? I can tell you what would happen. They could go to law enforcement, or they could, a wrong place to go, they know about it. They could go to a doctor. You know what he's going to do? He's going to handcuff them. They're going to put them in behind mental health bars. They call it mental health. Mind control doesn't have anything to do with mental illness or mental health. Well, your mental health's ruined. You're programmed, and the only way to stop it is stop the programming. It has nothing to do with mental illness, and to treat someone for mental illness like they're doing James Holmes of the Aurora, Colorado, and so many of these that are deemed insane, when that's a total lie. They're programmed. They're victims themselves. And here's where I want to get to on this one before it goes off. I'm just going to say that some of these over these last years that the media is not telling you the truth. They never have. They're not going to mention me because of my kidnapping, who I am, and how I was kidnapped, and the horrible things done to me. So you can forget the media. They work for the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, and some of them could have told the truth. They've chosen not to. But a lot of these murders have, and planes going down, have been done in patterns. Now, the Bedford police over here, I was over there, this has been some years ago, and I went in there, and they put me like in a small bench type thing, and I was in a room, in the hallway by myself, just sitting there waiting on them, and there was a big picture behind me, and it had a whole bunch of people that were wanted by the FBI or law enforcement. They committed crimes. I didn't see anything on there that I related to. It was done in pattern and it had that I knew anything about. So what I'm trying to say is the ones I have told about are ones that were using mind control. And the FBI said to me, in 82, after the antifreeze, and I'm on the street literally, had a letter from them, done the book and everything, had all this happen. I went down there, and he said to me, he yawned, and he said, you know what they do with what you're telling? And he pretended to be bored. He said, you bore them. It's only when they find out how they're affected, how it affects them, that they care. And then when I had the Hustler car, and that's when these Jens Orings was shot. Well, Jens wasn't shot, excuse me. I'm going through a lot of bad times myself. And as far as working for Mr. Flint or law enforcement, I sure haven't gotten paid. I've lived in hell, and I put this all on other tapes. And by the way, Larry Flint was shot, and I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about Larry Flint. I don't. I don't like pornography, but I sure the heck don't like the other crimes that are so horrific. It's a shame to even. It really gets me. It really does. I pulled out because my jobs were blocked and I had no money. I'd pull out Hustler magazine because to kind of show them, for God's sake, you can look at it and tell why is all this going on. And this was published April of '84. And this is after, I still had the car then when this was sent to me. And I was up in D.C. and it was later these murders happened. I was pumping gas in Grottos, and the Hustler car, or it was furnished by Flint, was sitting dormant there. I didn't have money or anything. I'm pumping gas, and I have money to put it in the car, and I probably wouldn't have anyway because I couldn't get back to him after then. But before I left D.C., I went up to D.C. after the campaign, after I left Flint's in October of '83. I moved up there for a short time, and I couldn't get jobs anymore. It was shut down. I was shut down. But the point is that I tried to get through to him and couldn't. They wouldn't hang up on me. They'd keep plugging me into somewhere else, and then they put me on hold. But I never talked to him. But the thing was that this was sent to me where I was living. So it shows that they knew where I was and where the car was all the time. Anyway, I got a phone call right after I got it, and he told me who he was, and I'm not going to say his name. I've said it before. I don't want to get him in trouble. He said his name, and he said, I'm calling from Hustler Magazine, Larry Flint. He said he is so worried over you. He's looking for you. He doesn't know where you are. And I told him, I said, well, and I said the agent's name, and I said where he was from, near Atlanta, and he said, yep. I said, and you're working for Hustler Magazine? So actually, law enforcement, you would think, runs Hustler Magazine. But I've said that, and I have never gotten a penny. I have lived a horrible life. I've lived on the side of the mountain up here on the Appalachian Trail. I've starved. I've frozen. I don't know where my children, Mark and Scott, are, and I've been telling about these mind control murders. The only time I saw the FBI here in Roanoke, I saw them twice. I'm not going to tell the first time. I wanted to get this one. I went in, and I finally got into them. They had the doors locked. You can't get into them. And they let me in, and he came out in the little kind of room there, and he sat down next to me. And I said, when are you going to do something about this? I said, do you know that? And I started giving him background on the book, and he knew about it. And I said, and I found out I was kidnapped. My real name is Margaret Ann Windsor. I was given the name of twins that were, their mother killed them in Moulton, Alabama. And he started like a wild man. You try to tell it, and they're doing it deliberately. People know I'm telling the truth, and that's what one of the agents, when I was pumping gas and the Hustler car was still sitting there, he come in and he said he had retired up there. He said they, and he meant the FBI, have made it so ludicrous that people know you tell the truth, but it gives them a chance to help or walk away. Well, people really have done me in. They want me dead. So I've put all this up about what's been happening to me to a degree, and the mind control murders, because there's a list of them, and that was part of the point. I don't know if the media, which is controlled by the people that kidnapped me, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, my own uncle, and this is going on. But the list that they put up, and not every murder, these murders happen every day that have nothing to do with mind control. They're just murders. They're not done in patterns. But it would seem that the ones these last years, a lot of them, and I don't know if they know it and it's deliberate. They certainly don't know about what's happening to me and who I am, and they know about the mind control murders. So I wanted to just stop here and say that the man in Cincinnati, John Connors, his son, is just been arrested.